Good morning, guys. We hope you're having a great morning today. This is Fred and Sheila with Hatfield, McCoy Museum Adventures and Fred and Sheila Investigates.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us. Another video for you. This is going to be a follow-up to the Sheriff Stines case. Former Sheriff Stines case, now incarcerated for murder of Judge Mullins in Whitesburg, Letcher County. Guys, when it first came out, this story first broke where he had the two cell phones and stuff and calling his daughter. A lot of people had the rumor going around that the judge had been seeing the sheriff's daughter. That was the rumor. And then a GoFundMe page was set up for the Stines family or maybe the Mullins family, one or the other. And somebody said, now make sure you understand that the sheriff's daughter was not involved in this. We don't want to collect GoFundMe donations and it be something other than you all thinking it's something other than it was.
Right.
Later on, I think it was the female attorney. I can't think of Carrie. Is it Carrie? Carrie Bartley? Yeah, Carrie. And what's her husband? Jeremy. Mm-hmm. Jeremy and Carrie Bartley. And I think it was Carrie that come out and held a news conference or an interview with somebody, and she told them right then and there that the sheriff's daughter
was.
Go ahead.
That it didn't have anything to do with the sheriff's daughter.
Didn't have anything to do with the sheriff's daughter. With him offing the judge.
Right.
So we're going to play you a tape here, and everybody after this, everybody should be able to put the sheriff's daughter and the sheriff's wife to rest as far as Judge Mullins and them having anything going on. But let's watch some of this video. We'll stop it probably in the middle.
Okay, let's see what we got here. Is this one?
Also, there's some new clarity on another issue that came up, really a rumor that started shortly after the sheriff shot and killed the judge. And it's sort of still been circulating about whether the judge had some kind of communication with the sheriff's daughter or the sheriff's wife, and whether that could have something to do with the motive. And apparently that is not true. We reported early on that it seemed just like a rumor, but now there is more information from the grand jury testimony that this was just a rumor. You remember shortly after Sheriff Stines shot Judge Mullins to death, he was seen on video talking with Mullins and then using Judge Mullins' phone to make a call. And it was later revealed that the call had been to his daughter, whom the sheriff had failed to reach earlier after calling on his own cell phone. What's interesting is he used the judge's cell phone, and you can see this on video. He takes the judge's cell phone and he used the judge's cell phone to call his daughter. At a preliminary hearing before the grand jury proceedings, Detective Stamper testified about this. And I'm going to read you this part of the grand jury transcript. And again, it's so rare for us to have these transcripts, but they were released publicly.
That's what I was going to say, and then he just said it. So rare for us to have these transcripts. And somehow, somebody accidentally released the transcripts from the grand jury. And that's what he's reading from. Now, guys, go to this guy's channel because he's got a whole lot of stuff before this segment that we cut out and a whole lot afterwards. We just cut this one segment because this was the rumor. Every time that I would say something about Judge or Sheriff Stines been a murderer or cold-blooded murderer, somebody would say, if it was your daughter, you would do it too. If it was your family member and so forth. And like I said, we had heard from the attorneys where they had already come out and said it does not have anything to do with them. So that's what he's going to show right now. He's going to read grand jury testimony. This is from the State Police Detective Stamper when he appeared before the grand jury, and it's questions that some grand jurors ask. It's questions that the Commonwealth Attorney asked, and comments that Detective Stamper just made. So this may enlighten you a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
This part specifically talks about that rumor again that was circulating that perhaps something between the judge and the sheriff's daughter may have caused all of this. So basically, the prosecutor asks, and this is again in front of the grand jury, to the Detective Stamper, throughout your investigation, have you become aware of some speculation in the community involving Judge Mullins and the daughter of Sean Stines? And the detective says, I have. And what is Sean Stines' daughter's name? And then they give the name, which I'm not going to give. How old? 17, I think, or 16. She's in high school. Okay, I'm not sure. She's a juvenile. Has she been interviewed? And they say she has. And was she specifically asked about the speculation in the community? And they say she was. And what was her response? She denied any allegations of having any contact whatsoever with Judge Mullins. So this is the daughter. And by contact, what do you mean? By social media, by text, by phone, in person, any kind of contact whatsoever. She denied it. Did she deny any sort of relationship? Any? Yes. That was all just a rumor. This is what the detective is saying. Okay, did you ask the wife of Sean Stines about this? Yes, she was asked the same questions. There were also rumors about her having some kind of relationship with Judge Mullins, and she denied those allegations. Was she specifically asked about whether or not she had any knowledge of her daughter and Judge Mullins having any sort of relationship? Yes, the detective said. And what was her response to that? That was not true. Okay, now as part of your investigation, did you become aware of the daughter's phone number? I did. And did you also obtain and examine Judge Mullins' cell phone? I did. Did you also obtain and examine Judge Mullins' phone records for the cell phone? Yes. Based upon your review of those records thus far and the phones thus far, does there appear to be any communication between Judge Mullins' phone and the daughter's phone? And then they say none whatsoever. Was there a call between the two of those numbers on September 19th, 2024, between the daughter's number and Judge Mullins' number on the day of the shooting? And they say there was. Okay, and based on your investigation, were you able to determine the source of the call? Yes, Sheriff Stines used Judge Mullins' phone while he's sitting in the chair in front of Judge Mullins' desk to call his own daughter. So there was a call from...
See, guys, there was a call. Even in the preliminary hearing, they asked, was the sheriff's daughter on Judge Mullins' phone? And Detective Stamper answered at the time, yes. He didn't elaborate. But anybody that had been watching those videos realized that the sheriff had called that number. So it would have at least been in there one time.
Right.
Because the sheriff dialed it. Now, had the sheriff dialed that number and it come up in his phone records, you're going to hear where it was not stored in the judge's phone. There had no history of it ever been called on the judge's phone. There was nothing to that to back that up. Had his daughter's phone been in the judge's phone, had anything at all happened like that, and then the sheriff went ahead and bang, 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 then a person could say, well, okay, there's some evidence. There's absolutely not one iota of evidence, including the wife and the daughter, both of them stating that they had nothing to do intimately with that judge. And when the sheriff dialed the number,
that's the only time the number was in the phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the only time it was in the phone.
Okay.
And it didn't come up. So why would the sheriff go ahead and proceed to bang bang on the judge in 3 separate locations in that office? I will always say that there's more to it. My opinion, just my opinion, and speculating, lack of evidence, information leads to speculation. And
yeah.
I believe the judge, in my opinion, there's something there. The judge, I believe that sheriff was afraid that judge was going to tell something that he knew if it got down to the nitty gritty on the sheriff. Sheriff didn't want that coming out. We'll probably never know what that was because that man don't talk and that judge is dead. Finish up. Guys, thanks for joining us. She's going to finish the video.
The judge's phone to the sheriff's daughter, but it was the sheriff making that call using the judge's phone.
Right.
Was her phone number stored in the judge's phone? It was not. Is there any way to retrieve any of it, anything deleted off the phone? Yes, there's ways. What about social media like Snapchat, any other types? There's no evidence. the detective says. Is that traceable? Yes, it's traceable. There's no evidence of any kind of communication with them. And then a juror asks, with the comment you made earlier that one of the deputies said they were trying to steal the family, what was the cause of that? And then the prosecutor says, I guess so in the interviews with the daughter and wife, sorry, some of this is confusing with the transcript, were there any concerns about their own personal safety? And then the answer is no. So the detective is saying no, they did not have concerns about the personal safety.
No concerns about their personal safety. The sheriff's daughter, the sheriff's wife, no concerns. Was there anything mentioned about being kidnapped? No. So again,
Didn't Mr. Stein say that though?
yeah, he says after he done off the judge,
Okay.
he said they're trying to kidnap his family. Guys, you've got to understand, this is a career law enforcement officer. This is not somebody off the street that doesn't plan for things or knows things or works cases that has relevance to this or he could use for an example. This is, I keep reading where he's distraught. He's having a meltdown at the jail, and he's having to do this and that. He don't even know where he's at. He don't know where he's at. But I seen a video where he's asking the guys, make sure your video cameras are on. I'm afraid. I'm scared for my life. Make sure he knows that he doesn't want to talk after he's read his Miranda warning. He didn't talk to nobody. He knew to keep his mouth shut. He knew to say, hey, turn your body cams on. And one of them said, well, it's an investigation. We don't have to have them on for an investigation, but I've got mine on anyway. That's where that one camera that somebody had their camera on saved the day for a lot of stuff here, because people would really be
speculating.
Thank you, babe. They would be.
I mean, that's easy done by going by what he was stating himself, and other things that were coming out. I mean,
if you listen to him, or if you listen to his attorneys. Now, again, guys, you got defense attorneys is there for the defense of things. They're there for the client.
Yeah, right.
And they're working hard. Commonwealth attorneys working hard in the other direction. This case will be played out. It will never go to trial because the sheriff knows too much that he can tell on different people. And some of it probably on himself. I will always feel that's why the judge was off, because the judge knew something on the sheriff. People can say, and everybody's welcome to their own opinion.
Sure.
I could be wrong. That doesn't make me right. That's my opinion. What you got, baby? That clears it up on the wife
and daughter. Yes, it does. I mean, there you go. It's doesn't get no better than that.
It's plainer than that.
Yeah.
That's grand jury testimony, guys. You can't lie to the grand jury. You can't lie when you're in there under oath. And that's the state detective that's worked the case. And he's telling them right there, straight eyeball to eyeball, that sheriff's daughter was not involved with the judge. The sheriff's wife, which some people thought that it wasn't the daughter. Some people thought, because they said that the sheriff didn't stay at home that night, him and his wife. See, that could be very well be a rumor. That could be a rumor. But if the sheriff did stay away that night and him and his wife was having problems, Sheila and I talked, and I said, I bet she's called the judge for an EPO. Yeah. I bet she's called for a restraining order, and the judge was going to have to side with her and sign an EPO, domestic violence order. And maybe that's why the sheriff was so mad. But they say that they had no dealings with the sheriff. Going to be interesting. Thanks for joining us.
It is definitely going to be interesting. We hope you're doing well. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share, and we'll catch you on the next one. God bless.
Thanks, guys.